Chapter 28 of Kidnap on the California Comet by M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. Cabbage baggage. Well, there's a rhyming title for you. Cabbage baggage. That doesn't make much sense. Cabbage, a green vegetable. Baggage, that means bags and suitcases and things, doesn't it? Cabbage baggage. How can a cabbage come into this story? Oh, hang on a minute. One of the passengers has the surname of Cabbage, don't they? Ooh, so I wonder what cabbage baggage can mean. Let's find out. Ah! Hal heard the cry and realised with horror it was Uncle Nat. He sprinted down the corridor, stopping outside Vanessa Rodriguez's roomette. Uncle Nat was on his knees with his face pushed into the carpet and his arm twisted behind his back. The woman stood over him, holding his wrist up in a tight grip. "It's me, Nathaniel Bradshaw, from across the hall," Uncle Nat pleaded. Vanessa Rodriguez let go of him. Look at her face. She's not looking a happy bunny, is she? Wonder what that was about. "You shouldn't surprise someone when they're wearing headphones," she said flatly. "I didn't mean to startle you." Uncle Nat rubbed his wrist. "I knocked, but you couldn't hear me. That's why I opened the door and tapped you on the shoulder." He got to his feet. "Oh, hello, Hal." "Are you all right?" Hal asked. "Fine." Uncle Nat turned to Vanessa Rodriguez. "Hal was right about you being a police officer then." "What gave me away?" Vanessa snorted out a laugh. "Are you working on the Marianne Razor kidnapping?" Hal asked. "So what do you think it was that gave her away to Uncle Nat? Do you think it was the arm lock she held him in? Was that giveaway?" "No. I'm an officer in the Chicago Police Department. I don't have jurisdiction here." "But," Hal faltered, "Zola said you were watching her." "I was asked to keep an eye on her." Vanessa shrugged. "That's all. I'm travelling to visit a friend in San Francisco." She rolled her eyes. "Just my luck to wander into a crime scene." "But you warned me about Adelbert Cabbage." "Yeah, 'cause you were cozying up to her at breakfast. She's dangerous. A career criminal, the kind that takes advantage of good people. She pops up from time to time in Chicago. Has a nasty habit of stealing people's identities and tricking old people out of their life savings." She shook her head. "Man, I hate crims that target the olds. She'll steal anything. Wallets, passports, social security numbers." She waved her hand. "Anything that she can sell. Well, now she's guilty of theft and, I think, an accomplice to kidnapping," Hal said. "She's what?" Uncle Nat looked at Hal over his glasses. "You have proof?" Vanessa asked, sounding unfazed. "Yes." Hal pulled the pink lipstick from his pocket. "This was found in the Silver Scout. It's pink, the shade that Adelbert wears. I'm sure if you test it, you'll find her DNA." "Dropping lipstick isn't illegal," Vanessa said. "No, but stealing the hard drive from August Razor's computer is." "It's missing?" "Yes, and she's never been invited into the Silver Scout, so how did her lipstick end up in there?" "I think the hard drive is hidden in the lining of that big coat she wears." Vanessa stared at him. "So why do you think she's involved in the kidnapping?" "She asked me about it at breakfast and I told her I thought the kidnapper was a woman. She said I was wrong, that it must have been a short man and a woman would never do such a thing." Hal shook his head. "Why would she say that when she said she hadn't witnessed the kidnapping?" "She was trying to make me doubt myself, but I never doubt what I draw." "Draw?" Vanessa raised an eyebrow. "Look, I know it's not normal for children to help solve crimes, but we're going to be in Emeryville in a few hours. Do you want to be the police officer that didn't listen to a kid and let the people involved in the Razor kidnapping get away?" Vanessa stared hard at Hal, and then one side of her mouth curved up into a crooked smile of respect. Do we even know if Adelbert Cabbage is still on this train? She's in coach, Uncle Nat replied. I checked. Then I'll call for backup. Vanessa looked out the window. Where are we? Approaching Truckee, Uncle Nat replied, about to climb into the Sierra Nevada. Vanessa reached over her chair to pick up her phone. Her leather jacket opened and Hal glimpsed a handgun. Nathaniel, is it? She said over Hal's head. Do me a favour. Go and sit in the sightseer lounge beside the door to coach. If the suspect leaves the carriage, I need to know, but don't engage with her. That means don't talk to her. She's dangerous. This train is wall-to-wall civilians and we don't know if she's armed. I don't want a hostage situation. I'll call this in, then I'll come down and join you. We'll sit tight till we've got support. Understand? Right, of course. Uncle Nat nodded at her, then at Hal, and left. Vanessa looked at Hal. Go and sit in your roomette, kid. You've done good. Now leave this to the grown-ups. But this is not a game. Your mother won't be happy if you get hurt. She dialed a number on her phone and turned her back to him. But I haven't told you about... He held up his sketchbook. Hello? This is Rodriguez. Put me through to Sergeant Bucky in Omaha. Hal tapped Vanessa's elbow. Oof, that's brave of him, given what she did to Uncle Nat. But she shooed him away with her hand, scowling, that means frowning hard, to let him know their conversation was over. Hal glared at her but withdrew, going into his roomette and closing the door. She hadn't let him finish. He hadn't told her about the switcheroo or how the kidnapping had really been done. Dropping into his chair, he stared out of the window at the deep carpet of pine and fir trees fraying at the foot of the distant mountain. If he sat here and did nothing, and the police arrived with their stomping boots, handcuffs and guns, things could go badly for Marianne. He thought about August Razor. What would he want me to do? That's in italics to show you that that's what Hal is thinking. Hal laid his sketchbook on the table as the town of Truckee arrived like a movie set, rolling into position in front of the window. A parade of colourful wooden shops, houses, and a bright red fire station. He heard the ting-ting of a level crossing bell as the California Comet pulled to a stop beside the platform. He knew what he had to do. Ooh, there's a cliffhanger for you. We'll find out more next time. Not much till the end now, look. We're nearly there. We've nearly found out what happened to Marianne.